and welcome back to my channel for another What's for Dinner. This week I'm going to share 4 great dinner ideas with you. If this is your first time to my channel, please take a moment and subscribe, like this video, comment what you had for dinner this week, and maybe I'll try something you made next week. Let's get into it. So this first dinner I'm making is smashed sweet potatoes and steak with asparagus. I saw the recipe for sweet potatoes on Facebook, so I will share a link to that down below. These turned out so great, they were delicious, and we absolutely loved them, and definitely will be making them again. So right now I'm just cutting them up into discs. I have 2 decent sized sweet potatoes here, and this made more than enough for Ryan and I, plus some leftovers. Next, I'm just putting them on a lined baking sheet in a single layer. Then I'm going to drizzle them with some olive oil, season them with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and a mix of herbs. I used herb de Provence. You could use just thyme, which is what the recipe actually calls for. I couldn't find it, so I used herb de Provence, like I said, and then I baked them for about 25 minutes at 400 or until they were fork tender. Once they came out of the oven, you are supposed to let them rest for a few minutes. I probably gave them about 3 or 4 minutes, and then I just take a fork and smash them down as best as I can. And then I'm going to top them with some fresh Parmesan cheese, some more herbs, and a bit more garlic powder. And then I pop those back in the oven under the broiler for a few minutes until the cheese is melted and it's crispy. The recipe does call for Greek yogurt as a topping. I didn't do that. I just used a little bit more extra cheese. Now my steaks I just seasoned with Montreal steak seasoning. Popped them on the grill until they were medium rare. I cooked up some asparagus with vegetable seasoning. This was definitely a favorite meal of the week. We do love a really good steak, and these smashed sweet potatoes were delicious. Our next meal is some herb and garlic chicken with a lemon and garlic pasta. So here I've got a few chicken breasts in a baggie that I've added some olive oil to, and a herb and garlic seasoning mix. I'm also going to add a little bit of lemon juice just to kind of tie in that citrus flavor that we're going to use in the pasta. And then I'm going to pop those on the grill until they are fully cooked. So here I've got a few tablespoons of butter melted in a frying pan along with a few tablespoons of olive oil that I'll add about 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic to. This is going to be the base for our sauce. And I do also have a pot of water off to the side coming to a boil for our pasta to get started. Now I'm going to let this garlic cook in the oil and butter for about 5 minutes, just on a really low temperature to really infuse it with that flavor. I do add some lemon juice as well as a garlic and onion herb mixture. And then I do add about 1 teaspoon of chicken better than bouillon just to really amp up the flavor in it. And that added great flavor and it was delicious. Now we're just going to let this cook up while our chicken continues to cook on the grill. Now here is our chicken all cooked up and ready to go. We're going to slice that into strips to top on our pasta. This chicken was so flavorful. I probably let it marinate for maybe an hour, but I think really you could get it on there within half an hour. If you had all day and remembered to marinate it, it would be even better. And then here's our pasta all cooked up. Now this was just kind of a throw together meal. So this is like a mixture of fettuccine and linguine, and I think there might even be a little bit of spaghetti in there. It was kind of just like the last bits of my pasta packages. And now I'm taking that right from the pot so I get a bit of that water that the pasta cooked in to really thicken up that sauce. Then I'm just going to toss it all in with the garlic and lemon sauce that we made in the bottom of that pan. I do add in a good handful of shredded Parmesan cheese, as well as some of that powder Kraft Parmesan cheese as well. And this was so delicious. It was a nice light meal. Now learn from me and use a pan or pot that is big enough to do this in. The pan that I would normally do this in was dirty and I just really didn't feel like cleaning it that day. I do give it a taste and notice that it needs a little bit more flavor, so I add some more pepper to it, and then I just serve it up in a bowl, the pasta on the bottom, the chicken on top, and then I top it with more of that shredded Parmesan cheese. Next meal is going to be a Korean style beef bowl, as well as I do make a few egg rolls as well. So in this pan here I've got a pound of ground beef cooking up with a yellow onion cut up, and now I'm going to add some matchstick carrots as well as a pre-cut, I use about half a bag of pre-shredded cabbage, and I just give that a really good mix together and let that cook up until everything is wilted and soft. Next, we're going to make up our sauce. So we're going to start off with about 3/4 of a cup of low sodium soy sauce, half a cup of packed brown sugar, half a teaspoon of fresh ginger minced. I just use the pre-minced stuff in a jar, and then the equivalent of 3 garlic cloves minced. I also just used the jar stuff. I just kind of eyeballed it. And then we also use half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. If you don't like it spicy, of course you can omit that or use less. And then we add 1 tablespoon of sesame oil flavor. So it's definitely worth grabbing some sesame oil if it's not something you already have on hand. Next, we'll just give that a really good mix, and this is going to go over our beef, onion, and cabbage mixture. This is so delicious. If you've never had Korean style beef before, This is such a simple recipe. Please give this one a try and let me know what you think. Now that everything has had some time to cook together, I'm going to throw together some Korean beef egg rolls. So I've just got these pre-made egg roll wrappers here that I'm taking some water to the edges of, and then a small spoonful of that filling. I'm using a slotted spoon so I can try and get some of the liquid out because it does have that that seasoning mix that we put in. I just roll it up, tuck the sides in, and continue to roll. After, I'm going to throw these into a bowl with some olive oil spray, and then they just go in my air fryer for about 5 to 10 minutes until they're really crispy and delicious. I serve these with a spicy peanut dipping sauce, which is just peanut butter, soy sauce, and some sriracha that I mix up in the microwave really quick. And these turned out really great, and we love a good egg roll, so any recipe ideas that you guys have. I've made pizza ones before, as well as traditional egg rolls. But if you have any that you love, please share them down below. For our bowls, just made some plain white rice, and then I'm going to take that Korean beef mixture and pour it on top with lots of extra sauce, and then I add a couple of the spring rolls that I made on the side, and in that bowl that looks really gross but is so delicious is that peanut sauce I was talking about. This is one of Ryan's favorite meals. I absolutely really love it too, even though it's not something I usually like to make. I don't know why, because it's really good. I top mine with some green onions or cilantro if I have it, as well as some sriracha, because as you know, I like everything spicy. next meal, I'm making some honey mustard pork chops on the barbecue. I just marinated these in a honey mustard dipping sauce with some balsamic vinaigrette dressing. These were really delicious, and then I made some rice-a-roni, which I am showing here. Now I'm sure all of you know how to make rice-a-roni. This is the chicken flavor. Then I made some corn on the cob on the side. This was such a simple and quick and easy meal, but it was really good still. And sometimes it's really nice just to have like a classic, simple, quick meal. Do you guys let your rice-a-roni brown up? I always have. I noticed the box that I bought last time didn't actually say to do that this time, but I prefer the flavor like that, so I'm still going to continue to do that. I always also add my seasoning mixture in before my water and let that seasoning toast up for a few minutes as well.